Mike Smith, senior Kylan Becker, and senior Brittany Finney. Coach Smith will begin with an opening statement, and we'll open up for questions.
It's a great day to be a Rebel. We're excited about being here in Tucson, being able to play University of Arizona. We know we're 2 wins away from College World Series, and it's exciting to be able to really step on a field and be able to have that opportunity. These girls have worked hard the entire year to have an opportunity to play for this, and so I'm looking forward to getting out here tomorrow night and lacing up the cleats and playing the game of softball.
You guys don't really have much of a history against Arizona. Are you hoping to change that this weekend by holding an upset and punching your ticket to the Women's College World Series?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even really know if there is even a game that we've even played against them, maybe one in a tournament or something along those lines. So, we're just excited about having the opportunity. 2 years ago, when we won our regional back in Oxford, had the opportunity to go out to UCLA and play 2 close ball games. Really had an opportunity in that first game to really kind of set the tone for that tournament, and ended up losing. We feel like we've got a really good ball club. We've had a great SEC season. Been able to take most of the series this year, so we feel like we've been battle tested. When you're playing in one of the best conferences in the country, as like Arizona, we feel like that if you can get through one of those seasons, the grind of it, that you're battle tested and ready to go. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now.
What's the biggest obstacle from getting past Super Regionals into the College World Series?
Well, there's 16, the top 16 teams left, and you're facing one of them. And of course, when you're on the road, you're facing one of the top 8 teams. So playing, I think, at home is always a plus. We've won 2 regionals being at home and lost the other ones being on the road. So I think that's a really big piece. That's a big advantage, especially when you get to play in the confines of your own stadium with your fans. So I think that's a big hurdle to overcome. But we've been road warriors all year. We've been on the road a lot. We started the year on the road for the first 3 weeks. Like I said, we've been battle tested, and so I think that we're sitting in a good place right now to have a shot like Arizona does, and like the other 14 teams that are playing this weekend.
What are your impressions of Arizona?
They can hit. I mean, they can swing the bat anytime you have triple digits in home runs. The air's a little bit different here. We practiced at Pima yesterday, swung the bats a little bit there, and balls leave the yard a little bit. I'm from Southern California, so it gets a little hot out there, and have the opportunity to play in Arizona. So I knew that coming in. Beautiful stadium here. They can hit. They can play defense. They've got great pitching. So we're very familiar with that. Been able to play some Pac-12 schools over the course of the last couple years.
Why is this program here now? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you guys have never been to the tournament before 2016. So why have you guys been able to create this program and get to this point now where you're in it every year?
Well, I took the job 5 years ago and really just came in knowing that I had a plan to get this team to have a shot at playing for some championships. So really it was just bringing a staff in that was going to really get a program that was going to be battle tested day in and day out. And I think these girls have really stepped up to the challenge. I think we've had some really good recruiting classes, including the 2 of them that are sitting to my left. I think we've just been really fortunate enough that these players have bought into what our program is just trying to create. We've tried to create a championship culture, building relationships through that, and I think that's been a big piece of our success.
From a player standpoint, what's kind of been the focus you guys have kind of seen and how that core of this top class come together?
I think I'd have to agree. I think a lot of the success we've seen starts on the field and starts with us as a team. We love each other like sisters, and I think that's one thing that really gives us a leg up. When you're looking at some other teams, we hang out with each other all the time. We love each other, and I think that flows over onto wanting to have each other's back on the field, and that really gives us an advantage.
Was there a sales pitch for a program that had never been there? I mean, what was his pitch to say, hey, let's come and start this?
When I walked onto campus, I fell in love with the entire city of Oxford, and then I really loved the fact that they were going to take care of me, not only as a player but as a person. And I think Coach Mike and Coach Smith and his staff have really done that, and everybody in Oxford has really just taken care of me and brought me in like family.
Brittany, is it true that you were born here?
I was born in Tucson, so it's kind of weird. I've been to a lot of camps. Actually, at Arizona, it was kind of weird coming back home a little bit.
What do you think it's going to be like to play here?
When I walked in, it's obviously a brand new stadium, so I've never been here before, and it's been, I think I counted 8 years since I've been here, and so that was weird. And when I walked in, I was kind of like, wow, I remember this place. I remember campus. I saw some things around the town that I've seen before, and it was a little eerie at first, kind of like, what am I doing here? But I'm ready. I'm so ready for this.
How long did you live here?
4 years.
4 years. What's the background of that? Why you were here and why you left?
My family was here, and I was born here, and then my parents separated, and so I went back home, to my dad's home in Kansas.
You started off at Oklahoma,
Yes, ma'am. I played a year for Coach Gasso at Oklahoma.
and did you experience the Women's College World Series?
Yes, ma'am.
So what have you told your teammates about that experience?
I haven't really talked much about it. I haven't really tried to give them, I haven't tried to tell them, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that, whatever. But I see a lot of the things that I saw in Oklahoma that year in this team. And so that's really inspiring and incredible and just awesome to honestly just sit back and watch this team just develop into a championship team.
So did you pitch under Taryn then for a year?
Yes, sir.
How was that experience like?
Coach T's a great coach. She's incredible. She knows so much about the game, and she was able to help me develop into really a great pitcher. And so it's a little bit different having to come in here and play against her. That was something. After she left, we were all heartbroken. She helped us a lot, and then Coach Ash just stepped in and taken over and made me an even better pitcher since then. And so playing against Coach T is going to be a little different, but it could be advantageous and disadvantage to us because she knows us, but we also know her. So it could go either way.
What was your reaction when she left? She said you were pretty understanding.
I was so honestly excited for her. I knew this was her dream. She played here, she loved it here, and I know this was like the best thing that could ever happen to her. And so I was very, I didn't want to be selfishly sad for myself. I mean, obviously I was, it was great, to play for her, but I just couldn't, I could not be upset about her getting the dream job she wanted.
What are your strengths as a pitcher?
I don't know. I try to just have a little grit, I guess. I try to use a lot of different things, going out there on the mound. But I think one thing that I really try to do is just focus in and take it pitch by pitch and not necessarily getting overwhelmed by the game or the batter or anything like that.
So, Coach, how would you describe her as a pitcher?
I think grit is probably one of the biggest characteristics of her. She's a power pitcher. She has a never say die attitude. She wants the ball all the time. Which sometimes you can do it and sometimes you can't. I love her competitive nature. She doesn't really care who's up there. Doesn't matter the type of hitter, what they're able to do. She's just going to go after you. It's almost kind of like, that's my plate and I'm going to attack you and, do your best to try to beat me. And that's the mentality that you want of any pitcher in the circle.
How about Molly?
Molly's more of a finesse type pitcher. She has she can change speeds a lot, multiple. She moves the ball in and out, up and down, and changes speeds. They complement each other. One's more of a power pitcher versus the finesse type pitcher. Molly frustrates hitters a lot, which is always a positive. Anytime you could see a hitter with a frustration walking back to the dugout, or you see them bang their bat on the ground, you know that they've been beat.
Kylie, tell us about that great catch that you had.
Which one?
The one that you went over the fence to take away a home run that was on ESPN and all, and then your thoughts about playing outfield here at Hillenbrand.
So that catch last weekend was just, I knew that I was going to be close to the fence, and I really just we practice every day. I try my best to catch anything that's out there, and really just a matter of timing it well and jumping up and trying to catch it. And then here, the wall's just slightly higher than ours, about the same, and with the ball traveling so fast out of here, we worked on it already, and I think I'll be able to do the same thing hopefully with this wall. I can jump over it a little bit, so if anything goes out there, we'll see.
Kyla, what kind of momentum did you guys take out of having to win 2 games in one day to get here?
I think that having to win those 2 games, once we already lost the first one, definitely gives us a lot of confidence. We did well with our backs against the wall, knowing that our season could have ended. And it kind of just shows us that we can do it. Just because you lose game 1 doesn't mean you can't win game 2 and 3. And we really did that all season long with SEC. We won every series but one, and every series was different. Either we lost game 1, won 2 and 3. We won game 1, lost 2, won 3. Or we would win the first 2 and lose 3. So I think we definitely are confident. Our team has a lot of momentum. We're very confident in ourselves. We're confident in no, it doesn't matter which game you win, which game you lose. We think we could still do it.
What's the toughest crowd you've played in front of this season?
Or what are some of the tough ones that you've had to?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, crowds don't bother me. Whether they're cheering for me or against me, it doesn't bother me. You kind of just block. You could be cheering for the pitcher, but to me it sounds like you're cheering for me up to bat, so it really doesn't matter. That's why I don't really know what crowds are bad. I mean, I like them all. They're fine.
Mike, kind of when you were going through the process of hiring Taryn, what was kind of attractive to you about wanting to have her on your staff?
So the relationship Tara and I had is I actually recruited her younger sister when I was at California Baptist University. So I recruited her. She had committed to us, and when I got offered the job at McNeese State, I left and made that phone call to her, letting her know that I was leaving. And so that's kind of where that relationship was. I knew Taryn through that process. Coaching in Riverside, which is where Cal Baptist was. Taryn played at Santiago High School. And so I had known her, watched her play. So we had that relationship there. And then I knew she had coached at Cal Baptist for Bill Baber, who was my assistant, who became the head coach after I left. And so just the relationship that Bill and I had, talking with him through that. She had left to go out to North Carolina to do some media marketing stuff and knew that she was available and kind of reached out to her. I actually saw the list, and Taryn's name was on that list of the people that had applied after day number one. And so I kind of reached out to her kind of to find out what her plan was, what she wanted to do, and really talk through the process of it before we kind of did